So if you didn't hear all the details, hopefully we'll be able to do a little encore presentation next hour. If you are channel surfing, we're coming up close to the top of the hour here at HSN. I'm Shannon, this is HSN. HSN's resident expert, Mike Mezak, is joining us via phone, but he really is, in the world of coin collecting, one of the most recognizable experts. He imparts not only great values and coins that are the real deal, meaning it's not the Wild West. You don't have to think, is it really this or that or the other thing? 90-day return policy, that's something that HSN is doing. FlexPay, which is something that we don't usually have on coins. And Mike, I gotta tell you, in terms of the breadth of what we have in coin collecting in this, power 2 hours, it's nice. You've got a lot of different price points. You've got a lot of different stories, a lot of different opportunities from the proof sets. What is going on with this? The Thomas Jefferson nickel, I have not seen this with you before.
Yeah, this is a special thing. I don't know if you remember last year when the United States Mint made a special coin. So what they did is they decided to up their game, a little bit. And so what they did is that last year they made West Point minted pennies for the first time in history, and they put them in the proof set, the silver proof set, and in the mint set. In the proof set, they put a proof coin. In the silver proof set, they put a reverse proof coin. And then in the mint set, they put a mint state coin. They did the same thing this year with Jefferson nickels. They did the same thing this year with Jefferson nickels. This is the silver proof set put out by the United States government. This is the Jefferson nickel that's part of it. Now, here's the incredible part of that. The United States Mint shut down. Not only was the West Point Mint shut down, the San Francisco Mint was shut down for 6 weeks, not 12 days. And the San Francisco Mint makes the proof sets. So when they put out the silver proof sets this year, which traditionally they sell all year long, they sold out in 1 day. The only way to get this coin is to have bought a silver proof set, which were sold out instantly from the United States government. That has never, ever happened before in terms of just a regular proof set or silver proof set ever selling out. They're already selling for fantastic premiums in the marketplace today. And this is that reverse proof coin that's certified. Out of that set, only 1,304 of these. We had some 70s, but once again, these graded horribly. But the United States government, they sent you the set, and they gave you the nickel in a little plastic bag. I think if you look around in the back behind there, Shannon, there's a little plastic bag that has the nickel in it, and that's why it doesn't grade. Mint State and RP69, reverse proof 69, is also a phenomenally high grade, because they just didn't package the coin well. But there it is, 2020, reverse proof. And by reverse proof, it means normally the field of the coin is shiny and the device of the coin, or Jefferson, is kind of that matte finished. In reverse, it's just reverse. Right. There's that West Point or WMint mark that has appeared on the Jefferson nickel for the very first time. So you do all of that stuff, and I have this coin for only $59.95. Only $59.95. First day of issue is 100%.